Imagine standing at the edge of a place they call the Sea of Death, where the silence feels heavy and something just feels off. Like the land itself is trying to swallow your very breath. For decades, this massive desert was moving strangely, devouring everything in its path. Until a plan was hatched that sounded kinda crazy, importing millions of silent, milky-eyed creatures to do what humans couldn't. It just didn't make sense at first, but as you look at the shifting shadows and the unnatural movement of the dunes, you realize a disturbing fate was avoided by the smallest of paws. This isn't just a success story. It's a cinematic transformation of a graveyard into a living, breathing miracle. Welcome to Truthful. If you're liking what you see, let me know in the comments. And now let's dive into the story. Standing at the absolute edge of the Kubuqi, you'd swear the world had simply run out of color, leaving nothing behind but this endless, suffocating sea of yellow that stretches until the horizon just disappears into a haze of shifting dust. They used to call it the Sea of Death, and honestly, dude, it lived up to the name in the most haunting way possible. It felt like a place where time itself went to die. The air out there is heavy, but not with moisture. It is thick with a bone-dry stillness that feels like it, or is trying to swallow your very breath while you stand there alone in the heat. Back in the day, this place wasn't just sitting still. It was alive and hungry, creeping forward by 500,000 acres every single year, like a slow-motion wave of gritty sand reclaiming the earth and burying everything in its path. People tried to fight it with everything they had in the 50s and 60s, building sand stations and planting rows of trees. But the desert just didn't care and kept moving strangely towards the edge of human life. The wind would howl across the dunes, ripping the moisture out of the ground and leaving everything brittle, hollow, and dead. It felt off, like the land itself had given up. And for a long time, it seemed like a disturbing fate unfolded for anyone brave enough to call this place home. You could stand in the absolute silence and almost hear the sand shifting, a restless, unnatural movement that whispered that nothing green would ever belong here again. While the sun beat down with a relentless, staring intensity that made you feel like something dark happened just beneath the surface. Then came this guy named Wang Wenbiao, a local entrepreneur who decided to gamble everything on an idea that sounded kinda crazy. Honestly, it felt like something was just wrong with his head to anyone watching from the outside. He started spending his own fortune to grid the dunes with dry straw, making these weird, giant square patterns in the sand that looked like a massive, discarded chessboard lost in time. In the center of those squares, he tucked in these salix trees. Tough, spindly things that can push their roots down 300 feet into the dark. Hidden depths, just to find a single drop of water. But even then, something ain't right. The trees needed constant grooming to grow thick enough for the industry. And the desert is a lonely, expensive place to find a gardener. That's when the rabbits arrived, specifically the Rex breed. Imported by the millions from all over the world. They didn't just hop around. They moved with a strange, focused energy through the shadows of the dunes. Their milky soft fur, a stark, eerie contrast to the harsh, jagged grit of the landscape. They started nibbling at the fresh side branches of the trees. And it didn't make sense at first. How could a bunch of tiny animals save a dying, hollow landscape? But as they ate, the main trunks of the trees grew thicker and stronger, and their waste began to sink into the parched earth, turning sterile dust into something fertile and dark. With each female rabbit giving birth to 50 babies a year, an army was forming in the silence, silently transforming the chemical makeup of the sand itself. Now, if you walk through those same parts of the Kubuqi today, the silence isn't empty anymore. It's filled with a low, vibrating hum of life that feels almost supernatural. What used to be a graveyard of sand has been transformed into an ecological marvel, where 33% of the desert, over 6,000 square kilometers, has turned green in a delicate, orchestrated rhythm. These Rex rabbits eat the grass but can't digest the seeds. So everywhere they go, they're literally sowing the future in their wake, turning the dunes into organic fields where vegetables now grow in the middle of nowhere. Looking down from space, you can even see a massive, shimmering galloping horse made of over 5 million solar panels, shielding the ground from the sun and letting the moisture stay trapped in the soil like a cool, damp secret. The panels have slowed the wind by 50%, stopping the sand from displacing, while the rabbits under the panels keep the grass trimmed and the soil alive. The people who once fled the encroaching dust have come back, building entire new villages and earning thousands of dollars, where a tragic end once seemed certain. It's deeply immersive now. The shadows under the solar panels are cool and quiet. The air is breathable, and the rabbits move through the brush like silent, eerie guardians of a reclaimed world. It's a complete 180 from the sea of death it used to be, proving that even when the Earth looks like it's met a disturbing fate, a little bit of curiosity and a lot of tiny rhythmic pause can pull an entire ecosystem back from the edge of the abyss. As the sun dips below the horizon of what used to be a graveyard of sand, you realize that the sea of death has finally been silenced by the rhythmic, steady pulse of life. It is kind of wild to think that a place that felt so off for so long, where something dark, once seemed to be unfolding for the Earth itself, could be brought back by something as small as a rabbit's footprint. The shifting shadows and the eerie, unnatural stillness of the dunes have been replaced by a cinematic landscape of green, proving that even when a disturbing fate seems certain, there's always a way to pull the world back from the edge. It just makes you wonder what other corners of our planet are waiting for a miracle to happen in the silence. If this journey into the heart of the Kubuqi felt as immersive to you as it did to us, then dude, don't let the story end here. If you felt that tension break into something beautiful, make sure to hit that subscribe button, where we dive deep into the mysteries and marvels that most people look right past. Something ain't right if you leave without leaving your mark. So drop a comment below and tell us, did this transformation blow your mind? Or does the idea of millions of rabbits guarding a desert still feel a bit surreal to you? Don't forget to share this with anyone who loves a story where the underdog, or in this case, the under-rabbit, wins against all odds. Your support keeps these cinematic narratives alive and ensures that stories of hope and mystery continue to reach every corner of the globe. Thanks for hanging out in the shadows with us today. We'll see you in the next one, where another hidden truth is waiting to be uncovered. Keep your eyes open, because in this world, things aren't always what they seem.